what brought you here in Kentucky?
Well, I was interested in this demonstration here. I mean, it seems to me a lot of people who think themselves advocates of freedom are quick to throw unfashionable things like quote-unquote racism under the bus, and so I think that there's a lot of interesting things being said by this hated minority here that I'm traveling with, and so I sought to be assist in their security.
Understood. So I'm just curious. So I understand you were in Auburn University during the Richard Spencer speech. Is this anywhere similar towards what happened there?
I would say that this is a very different sort of event. We are out in more force than we were at the Spencer thing. I mean, people who are sympathetic to Richard were certainly inside the event. There was no organized demonstration of our people outside of it. And so I was there live streaming, and I felt insecure a great deal at the time because I was not with a great number of people who are ready to defend themselves. Okay. It also seems that there's a more organized opposition here, perhaps due to the advanced planning of it. I don't know what all the planning went into on the other side of it. But this looks like a larger thing with a more hostile opposition, frankly.
All right. So just one thing. I saw on one of their banners it says 100% traditionalist, 100% socialist. I was just curious what you thought about the socialist aspect of them.
I'm not particularly fond of socialism. I have been struggling to keep my mouth shut while they're talking about it here today because I became convinced that white people as a racial group have interests, and that it's a problem that there are lobbyists and interest groups for everybody but me. And I think it's worthwhile for white people to organize in their interests. That sadly, not all white people agree on everything, economics much less, and so I'm here for the identitarian portion of it, but I'm not a big fan of the socialist ideas, personally.
Okay. So one thing that a lot of critics on the libertarian side talk about you is that you guys are more on the Nazi side of things, and that you guys are promoting actual socialism by being for closed borders. What do you think of it? What do you have to say with regards to that?
Well, I would say that borders are not a concept unique to socialism. I mean, basically, wherever you have nations and states, they have borders. And so if they want to accuse me of supporting some aspect of statism, I suppose they could do that, but it's no more socialist than any other government policy. Borders are sort of like inherent in property. I mean, if people talk about they're advocates of private property, and if you want to live in a libertarian society, that's a society, if you take it all the way, where all the resources are privately owned, and there's going to be a lot of borders. There's going to be borders called property lines, and you're not going to be able to transgress them in a libertarian society. Sadly, while we live under the boot of states, they do have common spaces, and one of those common spaces that they have is borders. And if we do not want to be invaded by foreign peoples who are hostile towards our way of life, then somebody needs to protect those borders. Now, I'd far prefer for them to be privatized and everything to be handled through property rights and contracts, but that is not the world that we live in. And if white people are eradicated from the United States through open immigration and other policies, then there will be no libertarianism, because anybody who's ever been to a libertarian conference knows the demographic that you're notoriously surrounded by when you show up.